Hello guys, so I wanted to say that a lot of teachers they don't really care about the students. And I guess they think they care, but they don't. Like these teachers, it's like they just became a teacher for the money and they don't know how to talk to kids. And when I read articles online about how to deal with children, I think they work. I think the way they're written, like treat kids like people, remember that they're children and they like to play around, remember that, you have to repeat yourself and go over routines with them. Like, it can help. However, some students, yes, they are having behavioral problems. But I was just in the library today, and the librarian had all the students with behavioral problems in the class sitting on the floor quietly. And then when I was in PE class, the PE coach had all the students with behavioral problems sitting on the floor quietly and following instruction. Now, the students weren't exactly perfect, but they were doing the right thing. And I was very surprised because in class they never do that. And then when they go to music class, they don't do that. When they go to art class, they don't do that. And I'm just like, what does this teacher have that's so commanding that the teacher that sees them every day and then I see them every day don't have? And it's like they're just a different level of stern, a different level of strict, and it's like they should just be them kids' teacher, because whatever they got, I do not have. And I'm tired of dealing with the kids like running around being crazy because to me, I can't do anything with them. And then there's other teachers that are like, no, they can do their work. And I'm just like, this child can't do work. This child can't function. And then next thing you know, somebody else comes around and is like, yes, they can. You see, I just made them do this. And I'm like, you can make them do that? And I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe some bad kids just need a good teacher that's very strict with them. And I'm too nice. But I feel like, why is it bad to be nice? And why can't you just respond well to nice people? But it's like, no, students, they hate nice people. And then you have to be mean. And so that's where I'm just like, I don't really want to be a teacher. And a lot of these teachers, as I said, they don't care about going the extra mile. And today I was just asking a teacher about their student who has a birthday coming up. And she is a sister of a boy who I worked with. Let's call him Gregory. Gregory's sister is having her birthday. And it turns out she was held back. So she is repeating the fourth grade. And she's not a good student still. And so I don't know if she'll even pass the fourth grade this year. She could fail out twice, honestly. Because the way the teacher talked about her, she's like, yeah, this girl is like a bad student. She talks a lot in class, and I remember her very well. Because I'm like, hey, do you know this student? And she's like, yes, I know. She's a horrible student, basically. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised because her brother is the same way. And then the teacher told me, well, I got her mother's phone number. And I told her that doesn't really matter because the mom is not at home much to really see about the children. But I'm glad you have her number, but I don't know if it'll help much with the students because, like, the mom is just not really around. And even when she was in the office today, it seemed like she was trying to get her aunt, which the kid's aunt, which is her sister, most likely, to have more authority over the kids so that when they're a car rider, the aunt can like pick them up and just be able to like be contacted and see about the children. That's what it seemed like. And then yeah, just she's a mom who needs extra help with the kids, and after the kids get home from school, they're not studying. And parents think that that's okay, but if the kids can't study at home, like they're not really going to pass. And they can only pass so much. Like sixth grade is going to get tougher, seventh grade is going to get tougher. Like you can't just pass through classes anymore, especially after third grade. But anyways, the school system is a hard thing to pass. That's why a lot of kids are getting GEDs and they're not going through high school. And I think that's better because the GED teacher can treat you a whole lot nicer than your high school teacher and your elementary school teacher, because these teachers yell too much. But as I was saying, the girl has a birthday, and I told the teacher I want to like do something for the girl's birthday and just bring out like a snack for all the kids. And the teacher's like, "What? I'm confused. Are you talking about fourth grade or are you talking about second grade?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm talking about your grade, fourth grade." And she's like, "Oh, so you're just going to give it to one student? That's okay." And I'm like, "No, I want to give something to all the students." And she's like, "What?" And then I ask her, like, "How many students are in your class?" And she waits like an hour to reply back to my text message. And I'm just like, all you got to do is just say a number. And it just seemed like she didn't really want me to give them any treats. Like, I guess she thinks the class is so bad they don't deserve anything. But it's like, I don't really care. But teachers really don't like giving gifts out to students. And, yeah, I don't get that. But I get it because these teachers, that's what I mean. They don't care about students because they expect the student to just sit in a desk, be quiet, look forward, raise their hand, and then don't do anything unless it was an action that the teacher told you to do. And a lot of students act like human beings and real people, and they like to look around the room. They like to play with something when they're bored, like they can't just sit and be frozen. They're going to try to drum on their desk. They're going to try to play with their pencil. They're going to try to tap their feet, you know? They're going to hum when they like to hum. But I'll say some of these behaviors are not normal. For example, the excessive laughing, falling out their chair, trying to jump when they're not supposed to, not really following direction. Sometimes I think, yeah, this is extreme and it's not normal. But then a lot of kids are special ed in class, and teachers just don't care. They don't respect special ed children. They don't care to modify work for them. They're just like, "Oh, that's a thing on a paper. Now I know you're a bit weird, but you're going to act like everybody else. You're going to be neurotypical." And it's not easy for a child to do, but somehow they just adjust and they learn how to mask and act the same. But other kids, they just don't. They just know how to put on the act when they're yelled at and then stop when they're not being yelled at. And I was thinking it's not bad for a child to be suspended because sometimes they do need that break from school. And sometimes it'll help them to know, hey, maybe school isn't for me. And repeating a grade is not fun for any child. It's not fun being told, like, you're not going to progress and you're going to be the oldest kid in your classroom. And it has been proven to be not motivating for children. As well, a lot of kids are disruptive because they're saying, I don't want to be here. And I feel like we should stop forcing kids to be in a school they don't want to be in, especially when we know it's not quality and all the teacher does is pick on them and yell at them and give other kids popsicles, and then they don't get a popsicle because they're bad, and put these labels on them where kids are like, "Oh, that's the bad kid. He don't listen. He's bad." Like, it just starts to be a shameful environment, and these kids do not want to be in it, and they act out for whatever reason. And it's a controlling environment. They don't have freedom, can't even use the bathroom, get yelled at for asking, can't even drink water unless they're able to be told by the teacher that it's okay to drink water. Like, it's just such a strict environment to the point I don't know how how these kids should enjoy school. But I know some will, but that's the ones who understand the lesson. The ones who don't and get D's and F's and don't really understand much, yeah, those kids are just going to continue failing and then trying to like bully other kids because they're bored. And then they'll be disruptive or even tell stories in class when, again, class is not for telling stories, it's for sitting quiet and waiting on the teacher to direct you and tell you when to speak and what to speak about. And a lot of kids are not going to like that. And that's why I think it's good to look into alternative forms of schooling, which is mainly homeschooling. I've seen online schooling, but honestly, just accepting that maybe your child will not be fit for the school system. Some kids are going to have to find other types of jobs, and some kids are going to have to wait till later in life, could be in their 20s, could be in their teens, for when they want to focus and really do well in school. And not every kid is going to progress like grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the right order. Just like kids aren't going to go to college and complete their degree in 2 years, 4 years. They may take 6 years and 7 and 10. And there just needs to be space for that. And it's not a failure. It's just them waiting to learn what they need to learn when they can. We shouldn't be forcing kids to be on a certain grade level just because they're a certain age. And with special education, honestly, special ed isn't that great. A lot of teachers are not trained to deal with special needs children, and the kids end up just being able to count to 10, I assume. But I'll see more about it. But I see a lot of disabled kids who have like real behavioral problems because they're not good at being in school. For example, autism students have something called demand avoidance, which basically means when there's a big demand, they don't really want to do it. And this makes sense to me. And yeah, they like doing what they want to do more so than other students. They don't like delayed gratification. And it just should be normalized to say some kids don't enjoy school, let's not do it, instead of making them scream and cry to be in a school that doesn't really teach them anything anyway.